Okay, I have to ask, that solo at the beginning of questions 67 and 68?
Okay.
Yeah, how do you play that?
It's so simple. It really is. So it's 1, 2. Is that what you mean? So
Yeah.
it's a triplet.
I listened to it and I just couldn't figure it out.
So yeah. So it's 1, 2. See how you can disguise something simple to be hard? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
It's a Buddy Rich thing, kind of, or a Gene Krupa.
Okay, he inspired me to ask you the question that I'm curious about. Yeah, I think for a lot of people, your most famous solo break, if you will, is the "Make Me Smile" break.
Mm-hmm.
Did you compose that? Is that written down? Is it an improv? Was it recorded in one take? I mean, how did you do that? I mean, it sounds perfect. Honestly, it sounds perfect. You know,
I didn't start cheating until later on.
it's compositional. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's
I became the
compositional.
king of punch me in. I didn't make this perfect, but no, that was the early days. So it was composed in my head. You know,
Really?
I have to say, it was one of the times in my life when I really thought I had thought about the future. You know, and I knew I had 4 bars of this really. I could tell it was a great piece of music. In those days, it was a 12-minute piece of music. Yeah. It was just a movement. It was the beginning and the end of a 12-piece music that got edited together. That just happened to be in time.
Right.
So, but I knew I was going to have this 4-bar like solo thing at the end. It was really cool, and I really did think to myself, okay, what do I want to say here? You know, what would Buddy do? What would Gene do? What would Danny do? And I kind of fused it all together. You know.
Could you play it?
You know.
Yeah, that single stroke triplet is great. Terrific. Oh,
But I'm
yeah.
playing. But people that like Greg Bissonette, you know, on my DVD said, "Would you show me how you did it?" No one realizes I start that last roll on my tom, so I started, and I have the 8-note kick drum going.
Right.
So it sounds very weird.
Yeah, that bass drum gives it a lot of momentum.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And with the kick going underneath it. I mean, the kick going underneath it was just a nervous twitch, but it worked.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes.
Going back to the tuning topic, what exactly should you think about tuning your drums to?
Well, you get some get very technical and they tune it to notes. The great thing about DW is the fundamental note is written in, there's a stamp in the shell. But what I listen to is right. So you hear that?
Yeah.
Now you hear the pitch of the head matches the tone, the shell, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Thank you.
okay. And you can go a little bit above it, but I mean you could bring it up an octave. But I like the drums to be well, if you're doing a real super jazz thing, you tune them pretty high, right? But I like it to be warmth and depth, but tight enough where it's not too loose. Because some guys really tune them like that. For the kind of music I need to have rebound. I need to be able to play double strokes because I do. So also, what I learned at a very young age is drums actually sound lower out there. In other words, I hear this pitch here, but it's actually lowest out there. So tune it a little bit higher than what you think, and to play by feel, learn to play from hearing, and learn to play from hearing. And then find a way to combine it. And learn to read, because that'll come in really handy. It'll help you in learning tunes faster when you get thrown into a session, or you can start writing the structure of the song, and you'll learn the song before anybody else. And then learn to play soulfully, because the great drummers play. Buddy couldn't read, okay? Buddy didn't read. I'm not a great reader. I mean, I can read, but I'm not that great. I have learning disabilities, so for me, it's a retention thing. And be prepared to have a second and a third job.
That's the truth.
Listen, it's a very difficult road you're choosing if you're choosing it, but at the same time, it's a wonderful gift to yourself and to other people. Your craft, doing something you love to do there's no replacement for that. There's nothing that it gives meaning, an enormous amount of meaning to your life. Now, there's a price to pay for that. The price is sometimes your personal life. You have to be totally dedicated. If you're going to be a drummer or any kind of musician, and you plan on making a living, or you want this to be your path, well, you better be ready to eat, sleep, and drink music. I'm not telling you as a kid, don't be a kid, have fun, but be ahead of the game now and really woodshed and get to know music at an early age, and it'll benefit you. It'll make it easier for you when you get older. But if you're just going to be a hobbyist, have fun with it too. But if you plan on being a drummer and you want to be as great, as good as you can be, and be as great as your drum hero, you have to be dedicated, total dedication. But you got years to do it too. And I really recommend you have a fallback. The music industry is a very difficult industry, really difficult. So if it's your calling, God bless you. But please have a fallback too, and to get you through the harder times, and be able to do something so you can continue playing. Otherwise, you'll get very frustrated. I hope I didn't discourage you. Good. You're welcome. Okay. Yes.
Do you have any stories from any concerts that were particularly memorable, or anything that's happened over the years that's...
I do. The first time, one is the first time, Jimi Hendrix really liked to go to Chicago. He kind of took us under his wing. He heard us at the we were the house band at the Whiskey A Go-Go in 1968. And we'd just come out from Chicago. And we were just starting to take hold and catch on in LA. And the word on the street was start to get around about the band. And so one night we finished our show, and there was Jimi Hendrix on our dressing room. This is when this is a rock god,
Yeah.
And we were listening to him, and he loved our guitar players. He thought that he was the best guitar. He said, "You guys are the best band I've ever heard in my life." And he eventually took us on the road. He took us when we released about 6 months later. We released our first album. He took us out on tour. What a great opportunity, right? And so we met up with him in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah. And it was in those days, when you did commuter flights in between towns, it was Piedmont Airlines, and flying in the South in the summer was fun. So anyways, we get on the plane, and I'm sitting behind Jimi Hendrix, and the next thing it feels like we're gonna crash. I mean, it was like thunderstorms, and I start vomiting, right, badly, and I'm right behind. I'm so embarrassed. I'm right behind Jimi Hendrix. I'm like, I'm like, oh no. So anyways, he's an ex-paratrooper, so it didn't even faze him. So all through the whole flight, he had his hand on my head. It's okay, kid. We're gonna make it. So that was my introduction to Jimi Hendrix. It humbled me very quickly. But you know what? He was really cool because he was aside from all the mystical kind of mystery around him, and the drug thing, he was really a nice guy. He was very kind, and he took me under his wing, and from that point on, we were really friendly and really close because he, I think it endeared me to him because he felt bad because I'm like losing my guts. That's one of the stories. Some of the others I really can't tell here. The kids might like it, but I'd get in trouble with the parents.
Yeah.
Any other? Yeah, one. Yeah.
Could you talk about constructing drum solos, construction of drum solos, in particular?
Okay.
Yeah, in particular, "I'm a Man," if you can use that as
What
an example.
I'll tell you what, somebody paid me a compliment. Keith Emerson. And his guitar player, my guitar player, we share a guitar player. So he'd come to our gigs. And one night, I did "I'm a Man." And he said, you know, it's the greatest drum solo I've ever heard. He said, it was so musical. He said, you didn't overdo it. You paced it. And you did, it was as if you were a keyboard player or a guitarist. And that was a great compliment. So, you know, music, play as musical as you can. You know, leave space, build it, and then climax. It comes, you know, all drum solos, most come to a climax at the end, but some come to a climax and then come down the line. That's it. You know, I would say be emotional with your drum solos and play them with a lot of feeling, and don't think other than, you know, try to, you know, don't lay, you know, save everything, save your best stuff for the end and build it and save it, and, you know, and, you know, just, you know, like Gene Krupa had a thing called, he'd be doing this big solo and then he'd bring it down to how many of you seen Whiplash?
Haven't seen it yet.
Go see Whiplash.
Yeah.
There's a Louis Bellson thing in there, because Louis was the first guy I ever saw do that. Buddy did it too, where he goes. He goes. At this point in my life, I don't think I want to try. So, pace, you know, start out very simple, clean, open, then get emotional with it, and then frenetic and climax.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.